Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today's podcast English listening practice topic name is Business English for Career Growth. So today we are embarking on a really deep dive into a skill that isn't just, nice to have. It's genuinely a differentiator in today's professional world. It's pretty competitive out there.
It really is.
And whether you're thinking about that next promotion, or maybe you're looking for a new role, or maybe you just want to, shine a bit brighter in your daily interactions at work, this is definitely for you. We need to forget the idea of stiff, formal language or sounding like some kind of corporate robot. That's not the goal.
Not at all.
Today's focus is mastering communication that's clear, confident, and actually genuinely captivating. Communication that really sets you apart and can honestly transform your career path.
And that's it, isn't it? Our mission here, like always on the deep dive, is to really unpack what business English actually means.
Right.
And to shed light on its power, which I think is often underestimated, for your career growth. And crucially, give you practical, actionable strategies you can use.
Yeah, strategies you can put into practice right away across all those different professional situations you run into.
And you've hit on something important there. In this, increasingly connected global economy, effective communication, it's moved way beyond being just a soft skill.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically a hard requirement now. Those subtle but really profound nuances in professional language, they can dramatically influence how your ideas are received.
Totally. How competent people think you are.
Absolutely. And ultimately, where your career path can actually go. We'll dig into how business English is so much more than just, learning new words.
Right. It's not just a vocabulary list.
No, it's fundamentally about tailoring your message with purpose, with precision, understanding that every word choice, every sentence, it can either build trust or, erode it. It really impacts things.
Okay, let's kill that back then. What is business English, really? Because when people hear that term, I think sometimes they picture like dusty textbooks or maybe endless grammar drills.
Yeah, it sounds a bit dry, doesn't it?
It is. But the reality is much more dynamic, much more alive. At its core, business English is that purposeful, polished language that's specifically adapted for professional settings.
Polished is a good word.
It is. It's about communicating not just effectively, but strategically within your work context. It's the difference between just being understood and actually being influential.
And it's so important to draw that line between business English and just, everyday general chat. You're definitely not aiming for overly complex words or obscure jargon that just confuses people.
Please, no more synergistic paradigms.
Exactly. Nobody actually benefits from that in a normal meeting. The main goal is always clarity, being concise, and coming across as assured as confident.
Right. Conveying your message with maximum impact and, crucially, minimum confusion, which, interestingly, often means choosing simpler, more direct words when it fits, not trying to sound overly fancy.
Spot on. Think about the difference, it might seem small, between saying casually, maybe to a friend, hey, can you get this done ASP?
Yeah, we all say that.
Right. Versus the professional alternative. Could you kindly complete this by the close of business tomorrow? That little shift in phrasing, it immediately signals professionalism.
It does. A respect for deadlines, consideration for the other person.
Absolutely. It's not just politeness, it's showing commitment to how things should run. And, business English is incredibly adaptable too.
Oh, for sure.
The tone, the style, it changes based on the situation. You'll naturally use a more formal style for, say, sensitive client emails.
Right.
But then maybe a bit more relaxed, though still professional, for your internal team chats. And then you pivot again to a more persuasive, strategic voice for negotiations.
That flexibility is key, isn't it? Being able to switch gears like that, that's real mastery.
And this adaptability, it's really a cornerstone. The whole point of business English goes way beyond just passing information back and forth. It's a powerful tool for building rapport, establishing your credibility, and really importantly, fostering trust. Trust with colleagues, clients, partners, wherever they are.
Yeah, and think about the flip side. Miscommunication in a professional setting. It can be so costly.
Oh, absolutely. Project delays, misunderstandings flying around.
Or even damaging relationships, sometimes permanently.
Right. And business English actively works against those risks. It ensures messages are clear, expectations are aligned, intentions are conveyed super accurately. It's about cutting down ambiguity in every single interaction.
Yeah.
Makes everything smoother, more reliable, and honestly, more successful.
Okay, so that's the what. Now the why. Why should you, listening right now, invest your time and energy in this? Why is business English, and I don't think this is an exaggeration, your ultimate career superpower?
It really can be.
We've hinted at its value, but let's really dive into the reasons why this skill is just essential today. First off, it's basically the lingua franca of international business.
No question.
Doesn't matter if you're in New York, Nairobi, New Delhi, working remotely from Bali. English is so often the common ground for global companies. It just bridges those geographical gaps.
And the benefits, honestly, they're huge. Mastering business English, it inherently boosts your credibility. Massively.
How so?
Well, when you communicate professionally, whether it's a well-written email or a compelling presentation, it just signals competence. It shows attention to detail, trustworthiness.
It's like dressing appropriately for a really important interview, right?
Exactly that analogy. It subtly but powerfully says, I'm serious, I'm capable, I'm ready.
And it opens career doors, too. I mean, so many multinational companies, they require a strong command of English for, well, almost everything.
Internal meetings, writing reports, crucial client interactions.
All of it. Being proficient isn't just a bonus. It actually qualifies you for roles, for promotions that you might not even get considered for otherwise. It's a real competitive edge out there.
And something maybe less obvious, it builds your inner confidence.
Ah, that's interesting. Tell me more.
Just the ability to articulate your thoughts clearly, with conviction, persuasively. It empowers you in so many situations. Imagine confidently pitching a new idea to the leadership team.
Yeah, or leading a tough discussion.
Or even just making a well-argued case for a raise. This linguistic power translates directly into a more assured, more commanding professional presence. You feel heard, you feel valued.
And teamwork. It must help there too.
Absolutely. Clear language within a team leads to smoother, much more productive collaboration. Misunderstandings get minimized, sometimes even prevented altogether.
So everyone's basically on the same page, working together effectively.
Precisely. Which is invaluable. And finally, with remote work and global teams becoming so common.
More and more, yeah.
Business English just enhances your global reach. It lets you connect effectively with colleagues and clients across different time zones, different cultures. It kind of shrinks the world, makes it more accessible.
So it's not just about sounding good, it's about tangible benefits. Credibility, opportunities, confidence, collaboration, global reach.
And the data backs this up strongly. There was a British Council report in 2021 found that 87% of employers place a really high value on strong business English skills.
87%, that's huge.
It is. And they directly linked it to better productivity, higher client satisfaction, improved team dynamics. This isn't just gut feeling, it's measured impact.
Wow. Any other stats?
Yeah, a LinkedIn survey from 2023 showed 65% of hiring managers identify communication skills as a top, often deciding factor in hiring.
So more than half the time, it's a make or break skill.
Pretty much. Putting it all together, mastering business English isn't just advantageous anymore. It's a fundamental requirement for real career advancement today.
That really underscores why we're doing this deep dive. Okay, let's shift gears into the practical side. What we're calling the core pillars of business English mastery.
Right, the how-to.
Exactly. Now, business English covers a lot of ground, but we can break it down into manageable pieces. First up, writing professional emails that actually get results.
The email, can't escape it.
Nope. Emails are, let's face it, the backbone of workplace communication today. And the difference between a well-crafted email and a sloppy one, it can be massive. Success versus setbacks sometimes.
No doubt. A good email can build relationships, drive action. A bad one, it can really undermine your professional image, even erode trust. So let's break down the essentials, starting with the subject line.
Okay, subject line's key.
Absolutely key. It must be short, specific, and ideally action-oriented. Think about the difference between just writing meeting.
So vague. I get loads of those.
Right. Versus Q3 sales strategy, meeting agenda, and pre-reads attached. The second one tells the recipient immediately what it's about, why they need to open it, respects their time.
Huge difference. Okay, after the subject line, the greeting.
Yep, the greeting. You've got choices depending on formality. Dear name
Yeah.
is pretty standard for formal or external messages.
Safe bet.
Safe bet. Hi name is usually fine for more informal internal team emails. Feels a bit more approachable, but still professional.
And if you don't know the name.
Good question. Dear team, hello?
Yeah.
Or even just greetings work perfectly well, keeps it professional.
Got it. Then the body of the email. Structure matters here.
Massively. Keep it concise, short paragraphs, like 2 or 3 sentences max. Use bullet points for lists or key info. Makes it so much easier to scan and digest.
Yeah, nobody wants to read a wall of text.
Exactly. And we really recommend the PDA structure: purpose, details, action. It's a great framework for clarity.
PDA. Okay, break that down.
Sure, start with the purpose. State clearly why you're writing. Like, I'm following up on our chat about the Q4 marketing campaign. Simple, direct. Then, provide the necessary details, give the context needed. Maybe we agreed the budget needs finalizing by Friday. Just checking we're on track.
Got it. Purpose, details, and action.
Action. This is crucial. Explicitly state what you need the recipient to do. No ambiguity. Could you please share your feedback on the proposal by EOD Wednesday? Leaves no doubt.
I like that. PDA. Purpose, details, action. Makes sense. What about closing the email?
Keep it polite and professional. Best regards, thank you, sincerely. Looking forward to your response. All good choices. Then your name, title, contact info, standard stuff, but important.
And proofreading. Please tell me about proofreading.
Oh, absolutely critical. Cannot stress this enough. Eliminate all errors. Even one small typo can just subtly chip away at your credibility.
It really can look careless.
It does. Use tools like Grammarly, sure, but also try reading your email aloud before hitting send. You'll catch awkward phrases or small mistakes you'd otherwise miss. Works wonders.
Good tip. Reading aloud. I should do that more. What about the overall tone?
Tone carries huge weight. Avoid overly casual stuff, slang, too many emojis in formal emails. A slightly more relaxed tone might be okay for internal team stuff, but always keep that professional baseline.
And adapt to the audience.
Always. Lean more formal for clients, senior leaders. More conversational but still clear and professional for your direct colleagues. Common mistakes. Vague subjects, introductions that ramble on forever.
And not proofreading.
And definitely not proofreading. These seem small, but they add up and can really impact how you're perceived.
You know, it's interesting, the psychology behind a good email. When it's clear, structured, error-free, it kind of signals you're organized, efficient, respectful of their time.
Exactly. It builds trust before they even fully process the content.
Okay, let's make this practical. Here's an actionable step for you listening. Draft an email. Imagine you're asking your manager for feedback on a project proposal. Keep it short, maybe under 150 words.
Good challenge.
Make that subject line super clear and include a specific action item. How about this template? Subject: project name proposal feedback request by EOD Wednesday.
Nice and specific. Then the body.
Dear manager's name, I've finished the draft proposal for project name. It outlines briefly mentioned purpose, like our plan to boost customer retention by 15%. Your input would be really valuable. Could you please review it and share your feedback by end of day Wednesday? Happy to discuss any suggestions in our meeting Thursday. Thanks, your name.
That hits all the marks. Clear purpose, necessary detail implied, specific action.
Yeah. And maybe after drafting it, share it with a colleague you trust. Get their take on the clarity, the tone, the overall feel.
Great idea. Peer review is always helpful.
Okay, moving on. Pillar number 2. Mastering meetings and discussions.
Sure.
Meetings. They're not just calendar slots to fill.
Definitely not. They're prime time.
They are. They're platforms to showcase your ideas, show leadership potential, show you're a good collaborator. But if you're, fumbling for words, hesitating too much.
Your message gets lost.
Exactly. It gets lost in the noise. So the goal here is to help you become like a meeting MVP. Really own that space.
A great strategy is prepping key phrases. Memorizing a few go-to phrases can make a huge difference in how polished you sound.
Like what kind of phrases?
Well, if you want to add a point, maybe try. I'd like to build on that point by adding, or if you need clarification, could you elaborate slightly on what you mean by?
Ooh, polite. I like that.
Right. To agree but offer a different view. I concur with name on that, yet I would also propose. Or to bring things back to agreement. Let's take a moment to ensure we're all aligned on. Shows poise.
Those sound really professional. And being concise, you mentioned that for emails, guessing it applies here too.
Absolutely crucial in meetings. Practice summarizing your thoughts into 1 or 2 really impactful sentences. Rambling just dilutes your message, makes you sound less clear.
Makes sense. And active listening, is that just nodding along?
It's more than nodding. Though nonverbal cues like nodding, eye contact, they definitely show engagement. But also, use verbal cues. Paraphrase to confirm you've understood. So if I'm hearing you right, you're suggesting we prioritize X, correct? Shows you're really tuned in.
Okay, listening actively. And body language. Does that really matter on a video call?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe even more sometime. Sit upright, smile appropriately, try not to fidget. It sends strong signals, engagement, respect, confidence. Your posture says a lot.
Good reminder. What about interruptions? They happen.
They do. Handle them gracefully. Don't get defensive. Try something like, appreciate that input, to finish my thought. And then just continue smoothly. Assertive, not aggressive.
Nice. Okay. What about making the meeting itself better?
Start strong. Clear agenda, clear purpose. Use data to back up your points whenever you can. Our metrics show a 10% rise in leads since the campaign started. Adds weight.
Data talks.
It does. And always wrap up by summarizing action items. Who does what by when? Crystal clear.
Let's contrast. Instead of saying like, yeah, maybe we could try something different, which sounds hesitant.
Right. Contrast that with, based on our market analysis, I strongly recommend targeting younger demographics with a social media push. Projections show this could lift engagement by 15% next quarter. See the difference?
Huge difference. Confident, specific, data-driven.
Exactly. It shows you're not just talking, you're actively shaping the discussion, demonstrating leadership. You've done your homework.
Okay. Actionable step for meetings.
Try role play. Pitch an idea, maybe a new workflow for efficiency to a partner. Practice using those key phrases we talked about. Ask for feedback specifically on your clarity, and if you use filler words like or like.
And maybe record yourself.
Definitely record yourself. It's amazing what you notice when you watch yourself back, those little verbal habits you didn't even know you had.
Okay, good exercise. Let's move to pillar 3, giving killer presentations. They can feel daunting, right?
Oh yeah, public speaking is a common fear.
But there's such massive opportunities to shine, to show your clarity, your persuasiveness. Structure is key again, I assume.
Absolutely fundamental. Your intro needs to set the stage clearly. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'll outline our Q4 marketing strategy designed to boost brand recognition. Clear purpose.
And the main points?
Use clear signposts. Transitions like firstly, next, moving on, finally. Guide the audience. And the conclusion. Summarize the key takeaways. End with a clear call to action. Let's discuss how we can best implement this plan starting next week.
Keep it simple, language-wise.
Yes. Avoid jargon unless you know your audience gets it. Swap complex terms like paradigm-shifting innovation for something like game-changing idea. More impactful, less pretentious.
Good advice. How do you keep people engaged? It's easy to zone out.
Engage them actively. Ask questions. What's your experience been with this challenge? Use strong visuals charts. Images helps maintain attention, reinforces your points.
And practice. How important is that?
Non-negotiable. Practice, practice, practice. Rehearsal is how you eliminate filler words, get your pacing smooth, make sure you hit your time limit.
And handling Q&A.
Be prepared. Respond confidently. Phrases like, that's an excellent question, let me elaborate. Help. Address concerns directly. Don't get defensive.
Can you give an example of a strong opening?
Sure, how about? Good afternoon, team. Today, I'm excited to share our strategy to boost customer retention by 20% in Q3. We'll explore 3 key approaches: tailored outreach, refined onboarding, and loyalty incentives. Let's dive into how these will drive results.
That sounds organized and confident.
Right. A well-structured, engaging presentation shows competence, but also respect for the audience's time. Shows you've put in the effort.
Actionable step for presentation.
Prepare a short, maybe 3-minute presentation on a workplace improvement idea. Record yourself giving it. Then watch it back critically. Look at your pacing, clarity, and count those ums and ahs. It's incredibly revealing.
Definitely sounds useful. Okay, pillar 4, networking like a pro. Networking. It's more than just swapping cards, right?
Oh, much more. It's about building genuine, lasting relationships that can open unexpected doors. And business English is your tool for making that great first impression.
So how do you start that initial interaction?
You need your elevator pitch ready. A concise, like 30-second summary of who you are, what you do, the value you bring.
Example.
Okay, something like, hi, I'm Alex, a data analyst with 3 years experience optimizing supply chains. I'm passionate about using data to boost efficiency. Clear, quick, tells them what you're about.
Okay, elevator pitch down. Then what?
Ask engaging questions. Show real interest. Open-ended questions work best. What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your role right now? Or what got you into this industry? Gets a real conversation going.
Moves beyond small talk.
Exactly. And always follow up thoughtfully. Send a personalized email after you meet someone. It was great connecting at the conference. I really enjoyed our chat about data-driven marketing. Maybe we could continue the conversation sometime.
Personalize is key there. And being authentic.
Crucial. Don't try to oversell yourself. Focus on building trust, finding common ground, rather than just listing your skills. It's about connection.
Let's contrast again. Instead of just saying, I need a job.
Yeah, not ideal. Try a more refined approach, maybe at an event. Hello, I'm Priya, a project manager interested in agile methods. I'd love to hear about your experience leading agile teams. Much better.
And the follow-up email cements it.
Right. Thanks for the chat at event. Really insightful. Would you be open to grabbing coffee next week to talk more about your agile approach? It builds the relationship.
And the stats on networking are pretty wild, aren't they?
They are. That LinkedIn study from 2023 found something like 80% of jobs come through networking.
80%. Wow. So these connections are vital.
Absolutely vital. And polished business English makes those connections stronger, more memorable, more likely to lead somewhere.
Okay, actionable step for networking.
Write and practice your 30-second elevator pitch. Focus on clarity and sounding genuinely enthusiastic. Practice it out loud to a mirror, a friend, record it. Get feedback on your tone and pacing.
Got it. Pillar 5, negotiating and persuading like a boss. This sounds important.
Hugely important. Whether you're asking for a raise, trying to sway a decision, closing a deal, persuasion is key. And business English helps you do it confidently, but not aggressively.
So how do you approach negotiation clearly?
Be crystal clear about your ask. Replace vague phrasing like, maybe I could get a raise, Sant, with something precise and backed up. I'd like to discuss a salary adjustment based on my contributions to Project X, which saved Y dollars.
Specificity again. And language. Keep it positive.
Yes, use positive, constructive language. Instead of, that won't work, try framing it as, I see some challenges there, but here's an alternative strategy that might achieve our goals. Solution-focused.
And backing up your points, assume that's critical too.
Always use data, specific examples. I led Project X, delivered it 15% early, and cut weekly hours by 10. This supports my request for. Adds so much credibility.
What about objections? People will push back.
Anticipate them. Prepare responses. I understand budget constraints are tight, but my work this year directly led to $50,000 in new revenue, making this investment worthwhile. Show you thought it through.
And keep it collaborative, not a battle.
Definitely. Use phrases that foster a win-win feeling. I believe this is a mutually beneficial solution because keep the relationship positive.
Let's use a promotion example again, instead of just, I think I deserve this.
Right, much weaker. Try. Based on successfully completing Project X under budget and exceeding client targets by 20%, I want to assess moving into a senior role. Here's specifically how I can contribute further in that capacity.
That sounds much stronger. It explains the why and the what's next.
Exactly. It shows your value and how promoting you benefits the company. Effective negotiation isn't just about getting what you want. It's about demonstrating value and keeping the relationship healthy.
Actionable step for negotiation practice.
Role play it. Practice a salary negotiation with a partner. Prepare 3 key achievements, ideally with numbers, to back up your request. Practice using phrases like, I understand your point, however. Get feedback on how confident and clear you sound.
Good one. Okay, pillar 6, navigating cultural nuances. This feels really relevant today.
Absolutely critical in our global workplaces. Cultural differences deeply impact communication. Business English mastery here goes way beyond just words. It's about cultural intelligence.
So what are some key differences to be aware of?
Well, directness versus indirectness is a big one. In the US, being direct, like please send the report by Friday, is normal. But in places like Japan or India, a softer approach is often preferred. Would it be possible to share the report by Friday? Sounds more polite.
Interesting. What else? Formality levels.
Huge variation there. Think Germany or France, where Dear Dr. Schmidt might be expected. Compare that to Australia or Canada, where Hi John might be totally fine in the same context. You need to know your audience.
And nonverbal cues. Eye contact, things like that.
Very important and very different across cultures. Direct eye contact signals confidence in some places, like the Middle East. But in parts of East Asia, it could feel aggressive. Research is key.
What about time sensitivity? How quickly people expect responses?
That varies too. The US often expects quick email replies, maybe within 24 hours. Some Latin American or Mediterranean cultures might have a more relaxed timeline. It's not necessarily lack of engagement, just a different norm.
Can you give an email example showing cultural adaptation?
Sure. Instead of a blunt, send me the data ASAP, for a Japanese colleague you might write, I would greatly appreciate it if you could share the data when you have a moment this week. shows respect for their time and cultural preference for indirectness.
So cultural intelligence is really part of mastering business English globally.
It's an invaluable component. It enables more effective, more respectful interactions worldwide. It's about bridging cultural gaps, not just language ones.
Okay, actionable step for cultural nuance.
Try writing 2 versions of an email asking for a project update. One direct for a US colleague, one polite and indirect for a Japanese colleague. Compare the tone and phrasing with someone. Really helps you see the differences.
Good exercise. Pillar 7, industry-specific business English. Like secret codes for different fields.
Kind of. Different industries have their own jargon, acronyms, even communication styles. Using them correctly makes you sound authentic and knowledgeable in your field.
Okay, give us a quick tour. Tech industry.
Tech talk is full of terms like agile, sprint, UX, scrum, roadmap. The tone is often innovative, fast-paced, data-driven. You might hear, our A/B testing shows a 12% conversion lift. Let's roll it out. Or maybe, let's iterate on the UI based on user feedback to boost engagement.
Okay, what about finance?
Finance uses ROI, liquidity, equity, P&L, diversification. Tone is very precise, analytical, numbers-focused, like this investment yields a 7% annual ROI, or our Q2 P&L reflects a 5% cost reduction due to process optimization.
Healthcare. Different vibe again.
Definitely. Terms like HIPAA, EHR, patient outcomes, compliance, telemedicine. Tone is empathetic, but also very focused on regulations and ethics. You'd hear, we've ensured HIPAA compliance in the new protocol. Or, I suggest streamlining EHR documentation to improve patient care efficiency.
And marketing.
Marketing buzzwords, CTR, SEO, brand equity, conversion funnel, customer journey. Tone is creative, persuasive, results-oriented. Like, our campaign boosted CTR by 8%. Or, let's optimize our SEO strategy to drive more organic traffic.
So knowing the specific language signals, you're an insider.
Exactly. It's key to sounding credible in specialized fields. Actionable step. Chicken industry, maybe yours or one you're interested in. Draft a short, say, 100-word, pitch for a new idea using at least 3 industry-specific terms naturally. Get feedback on the tone and usage.
Great idea. Pillar 8, tips specifically for non-native speakers. This is important. Want to offer encouragement here.
Absolutely. Effective business English is totally achievable for non-native speakers. Many excel at it. The main thing. Prioritize clarity over perfection.
Meaning don't obsess about having a perfect accent or flawless grammar.
Exactly. Focus on being understood clearly and accurately. That's the real goal. Learning common phrases helps a lot too. Memorize essentials like, let's circle back next week, or I value your input. Boosts confidence and fluency.
What about immersion?
Immerse yourself. Watch TED Talks. Listen to podcasts like the Business English Pod. Read articles from Harvard Business Review. Get exposed to authentic language in context.
And practice with feedback.
Crucial. Seek guidance from mentors, coaches. Do role plays. Get targeted feedback to pinpoint areas for improvement. And use technology. Apps like Duolingo for business, BBC Learning English, LingQ, great for vocabulary, grammar, practice.
Can you give an example transformation?
Sure. Maybe shifting from something like, I'm not sure if that's good too, to the more polished. I would appreciate your input on whether this approach aligns with our objectives. It's about practicing clear, simple phrasing until it feels natural.
So clarity over perfection is the mantra.
Definitely. That's the key to career success. Actionable step here. Pick 5 business English phrases, maybe circle back. Action item on the same page, low-hanging fruit, move the needle. Write a sentence for each. Practice saying them out loud. Get feedback on pronunciation and context from a native speaker if you can.
Okay, we've covered the pillars. Now, how do we accelerate the journey? This involves planning, avoiding mistakes, learning, advancing. Consistency is key, right?
Paramount. Pillar 9 is about a practical plan. Start by assessing your skills honestly. Write that sample email, record that pitch. Identify your specific weak spots, grammar, confidence, vocab.
Then set clear goals.
Clear, specific goals. Focus on one area at a time, not get better at English, but my goal is to write emails that get responses within 24 hours. Much more actionable.
Building vocabulary systematically.
Yep. Learn 5-10 new business phrases weekly. Streamline, deliverable bandwidth. Use flashcards, apps, whatever works for you. Practice daily, write an email, role play mentally, read an article, make it a habit.
Consider courses or groups.
Good idea. Structured courses on platforms like Coursera or join Toastmasters for speaking practice. And track your progress. Revisit your initial samples. See the improvement. Maybe your goal is reduce filler words by 50% in 2 months via recording and review.
SMART goals really help here. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound.
Exactly. They drive real progress. Actionable step. Keep a daily practice log for 1 week. Note what worked, what needs more focus, reinforces learning.
Pillar 10, common mistakes to avoid. Even pros slip up sometimes.
Oh, definitely. Big one. Overusing jargon. Leverage, synergy, bandwidth. Use them sparingly, appropriately. Too much sounds pretentious.
Being too casual.
Avoid slang like Ghana, cool beans in professional settings. It can undermine your image. Ignoring cultural nuances, we covered that, but it bears repeating. Research your audience.
And skipping proofreading again.
Never skip proofreading. Typos scream carelessness. Credibility killer. Contrast, let's do this quick in a client email with, let's complete this by EOD tomorrow. Big difference in professionalism.
Avoiding these boosts clarity and protects your image. Action step. Write an email with 2 deliberate mistakes. A typo, maybe too casual. Swap with a peer. Find and fix each other's errors. Sharpens your eye.
Good practice.
Pillar 11. Real-life success stories. These are inspiring.
They really show the impact. Think of Priya, the project manager in India. Struggled with global meeting presentations, practiced hard, watched TED Talks, nailed a key strategy presentation, got promoted.
Wow. Another one.
Carlos, sales rep in Spain.
Yeah.
Focused on refining his emails, clarity, persuasion. Doubled his client response rate from 20% to 40%.
Amazing results. Shows the direct link between skills and career growth.
Absolutely. Commitment pays off.
Pillar 12. Resources to accelerate learning. Lots of tools out there. Books.
Business English Vocabulary Builder by Lingo Mastery. The only business writing book you'll ever need by Laura Brown. Both great.
Podcasts.
All Ears English, the Business English Pod, HBR IdeaCast. All valuable.
Apps.
Grammarly for writing, Duolingo, LingQ, Babbel for business English. Lots of options.
Courses and communities.
Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy have good courses. Toastmasters, local meetups for practice and networking. Using a mix of resources is often best. Definitely. Find what works for you.
Okay, pillar 13, advanced strategies for those ready to really stand out. Storytelling.
Yes. Stories make messages memorable, relatable. Instead of, we saved money, say, last quarter, facing a tight deadline, our team streamlined tasks, delivered early, and saved $10,000. Much more impactful.
How do you structure stories?
The STAR method is great. Situation, task, action, result. Perfect for performance reviews or interviews. Client was at risk. Situation. My task was retention. Task. I analyzed needs, proposed a solution. Action. Resulting in a renewed $100K contract. Result. Vivid.
Emotional intelligence and language. Reading the room.
Exactly. Adapt your tone. If a colleague seems stressed, soften your request. I know you're busy, but could you look at this when you have a moment? Use empathetic phrases. I recognize this is a tough time. Builds rapport.
And data-driven communication, using numbers.
Crucial for credibility. Instead of we're faster, say, our new process cut delivery time by 20%, saving 15 hours weekly. Pair data with clear explanation. Q1 data shows a 10% productivity jump due to the new tool. Turns claims into facts.
These advanced techniques move you from informative to influential. Action steps here.
For storytelling, write a 100-word STAR story about an achievement, get feedback. For EQ, write an empathetic response to a stressed colleague, suggest a solution. For data, create a 50-word pitch using one data point, practice delivering it confidently.
Excellent. Pillar 14, building a routine, consistency matters.
Small, consistent efforts compound. A weekly routine helps, maybe. Monday, write or find an email. Tuesday, practice a pitch meeting contribution. Wednesday, summarize a business article. Thursday, role-play negotiation networking. Friday, review a TED Talk. Note useful phrases.
And weekend review.
Yep, document progress. Set a goal for next week. Like, aim to reduce email response time to 24 hours. Consistency builds mastery.
Finally, pillar 15, measuring your progress. Tracking growth keeps you motivated.
Right. Establish your baseline record, that initial pitch. Save that first email. Note the weaknesses. Then do monthly check-ins. Redo the baseline task. Compare. See the improvement. Fewer filler words. Faster email replies.
Get feedback regularly.
Essential. From mentors, colleagues, objective input is gold. And celebrate your wins. Got timely replies. Nailed a meeting point. Networked confidently. Acknowledge these successes. Visible progress is a powerful motivator.
Okay, bringing this deep dive to a close. The big takeaway. Business English mastery is really about confidence, clarity, and connection in your professional life.
That sums it up well. These skills, applied everywhere from emails to presentations, networking to negotiation. They build your professional brand, create opportunities.
So start small, but start today. Write one clear email, practice one short pitch, learn 5 new phrases. Just keep practicing, stay curious, and watch your career flourish. Here's a final thought to mull over. In a world where AI can write pretty good emails and presentations, what's the human element that will truly set you apart? Is it just the words? Or is it deeper, the empathy, the intuition, building trust? How will you cultivate that irreplaceable human advantage in your business English journey?
That's a powerful question to consider.
What's your immediate business English goal? We'd love to hear it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more deep dives into essential topics.